Okay, so I've just been out going for a cruise, and I've noticed something. Since the last drive, this Rocky hadn't been making full boost pressure. And just an example, I will show you right now. That's my foot flat. £9 to boost. Quite £10. Ease off again. And that was only doing 100 kilometers an hour. So, it seems like to me that we have a boost leak somewhere. See, factory PSI should be around about, I think, 11, 12. So we have to get to the bottom of this. Alright, so we got home, we lifted the bonnet up at the Daihatsu, had a bit of a look under here. Now, I know this thing in the past had a bit of a boost problem, and it's because of this black thing here, and all I've done, I went down the cheapest chips, a bit of a temporary thing, and I bought a clamp, and simply what that does, it just blocks the hose off, and stops the air from bypassing from the turbo. So get rid of this now, you don't need that. This thing here, this is called a boost restrictor. And what this thing does is that there's a little valve down here that works off the back of the alternator. It's a vacuum pump. A little valve that sends electronic signal to open the valve in first gear. And what that does is it opens this valve, limiting your boost to about 5 psi. Nobody wants that. So we're going to remove it. And a couple little hose clamps you get in here and remove. And it's just a matter of which way you want to do it. I reckon if I leave the pipes on here and just move the restrictor out the way, then I can block those pipes off with something a bit better. I mean, those clamps in there, they're not even tight, they're loose. That's one. And you down the bottom, right? That's 2. Boost restrictor. Diaphragm's working. Alright, that's what the boost restrictor looks like up in person. Simply, vacuum air comes into here, pulls up the diaphragm, allowing boost pressure to pass from one side of the manifold to the other. So you've got the air intake and the air boost. So it just basically sends the boost pressure back into the inlet side of the intake and just recirculates it, that's all. And then you just drop boost pressure. But the thing is though, the turbo does that by itself. It doesn't need this. It's factory set to 10 pound. What's this thing for? Other than to limit your power in first gear and give you a whole lot of headaches. So you can stay right where I can see you, so you don't end back up in there. Now over here, I've got a box of goodies. And I've got all sorts of little nuts and bolts and junk and... you look like a good candidate. And take you... See if you fit into that little hole there. And I reckon with a little bit of persuasion... Oh look, it wants to go in. A little bit of persuasion and a hose clamp. I'll tighten that bugger right down. we're not going to have any more troubles. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. First hose. Put your bolt in and do it up. Make sure your hose clamp's moved all the way back. The one that originally came on it. I'm going to add another one. Should have thought about that. That go over there? Maybe. I might just grab me a little socket set and give that a bit of a how you going. If we go for a bit of a look down in here, you can see these solenoids, these ones here and here. I'm not 100% sure how they work. I know it's some sort of electronic trigger, and then it's vacuum the rest of the way. And the vacuum lines go down here to the back of the alternator, which is hard to see, but there's a vacuum pump. See where that vacuum line is right there? Get my finger in there, I'll show you it there. Right there. Goes down to that thing. So what I'm going to do is I worked out that these vacuum lines on the back of here, one goes in and the other one goes out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them off of there, and down here, yeah, there you are, that little triangle thing, here we go. That one's out and that one's in, although they're both causing a vacuum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that tube off, little tubes down there like that. Sorry for the blurry camera. I can't exactly do much better. I'm sorry. Take both of them off and then cut a piece of hose. I'm going to join those two prongs together and sort of block it off like that. It's a vacuum, so it'll just suck itself on. So that's how I'm going to do that. If any issues, then I'll just have to put it back to the way she was. But I don't think so. And that's what I've done for the bypass. See, this is the turbo, this is the inlet for the you know what I mean, inlet for the boosty boost, and here's the other side of the inlet, the unpressurized side. So it comes straight out the air cleaner into there, into the turbo, which is down there, and that also goes up through that pipe, boost restrictor, this pipe. When it reaches too much boost, that little valve opens, sends pressure back this way, down there, back into the unpressurized side of the inlet pipe. It's very, very basic sort of stuff, but it's a pain in the bum when you're trying to go through an obstacle or down the beach. You need all the power you can get. So you behave yourselves. And this wire here is just my boost tee for the not boost tee, boost gauge. Just tapped in there. That goes around to the injector pump. There. So yeah, all straightforward. I'm going to cross those wires over and we'll take it for a spin. Another thing for when you're under the bonnet, just grab a spanner. It only takes a few seconds. Make sure everything, all your clamps and all your hoses are nice and tight. Because if these aren't tight, especially on the boost side, they're going to give you a boost leak, and nobody wants that. It's down in there. Make sure they're nice and tight. It's a little bit loose actually. Oh, and on top of there, on top of the intercooler. And that's the pressure pipe too. I'll tighten you up, you bugger. Hope you're the problem. I've been meaning to get rid of that boost restrictor thing there for ages. All good. Test 2. I'm in 5th gear on a dirt road this time. I have tested it on the main road, but we'll have a go. 60 k's. Let's boost. So it's a slight improvement, but it's not much at all really. Very minimal. And it could be just because of the road surface I'm driving on. So, take it back to the workshop. There's one more thing I can try. Okay. So you might be thinking while we're under the car, well, you got the camera right, there you go. Exhaust flange. Now this thing's got the stock exhaust on it. And we just come back from our run, and this exhaust is very, very hot, which I'm not an expert, but it indicates to me that it's restricted. It's too hot. And that's only factory pound, factory pressure. So anyway, dump pipe goes up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out those 2 bolts, there and there, move the pipe to one side, bolt it up again. See how we go. See if that makes an improvement in our boosting. And there you have it. All I did was move that across. Now, lots of people decide to unbolt that whole thing, that whole muffler. But this is for testing purposes only. And if I want to, I can put the whole system back together and make it quiet again. So let's go take her out for a spin. See if that's improved anything at all. Okay, so we're out here on a dirt road, nice and quiet at this time of night, and I've taken the exhaust off the Daihatsu. Now, you guys probably won't be able to notice very much. It is still reasonably quiet. The turbo quietens it down a fair bit, but yeah, no, as far as the boost goes, I've given her a fair bit coming out here. Still seems a bit slow. Perhaps there's a fault with the turbo there, or maybe there's one of the lines have come off, or I've got to do a little bit further investigating. But in saying that, it's not all bad. I can now crack 10 pound back to where she was. So although I am doing 2,500 revs doing it, 10 pound, I've got it back. So the next thing that I can do is take it down the beach, put her under load, and make sure, because I have taken the exhaust off before, and I swear it was quicker than that. Like, it's, as soon as you put your foot on the throttle, she'd go vroom, straight up to 10 pound, and I'd be like, wow, don't really want to, you know, drive it too fast when it's cold. Like, it just used to be almost instantaneous, 10 pound. So, anyway, we'll take it for a drive. And, well, first, I want my window down. That's where the exhaust is, and have a quick little listen to this. overly loud. But in saying that, I do not recommend you guys go ahead and take your exhaust off. No. Because it's not a proper system. Not saying that you can do engine damage, this thing sounds like a truck, and it's not, I don't know, I guess the exhaust is more or less like a trumpet. If it's not tuned right, it sounds like rubbish. And that's essentially what this thing sounds like. Anything over 2,000 revs sounds worse than a trumpet, really. Worse than an untuned trumpet. So don't go taking your exhaust off unless, you know, I mean, you can try it. By all means, try it. But if it sounds like rubbish, and you know it sounds like rubbish, don't pretend you're cool. Put the exhaust back on, get a proper system. That's what I'm going to do eventually. That's why I left it, so I can bolt it back on again. But if it sounds alright, by all means, leave it off. No one's going to know. Anyway, I'm going to turn this camera around, take it for a drive, and I'll show you how we can crack now 10 pound. Just going up a hill here. Revs going downhill. Now if you're a local, you probably know where I am. It's not half obvious. Fourth gear, down we go. And I can see already, fourth gear, doing 60 k's an hour. Watch this. I put my foot down just a little bit. 5 pounds straight away. Alright, I'll get her under a bit more load, so that means dropping her into 5th gear. Okay, now let's watch the fun happen. Oh, aside from these corrugations, terrible. Right, 2,000 revs, 60 k's an hour, foot down. Was only 100 kilometers an hour. But a little bit over 2,500 revs, I suppose, when it comes down to it. So I'm currently sitting on 80, 2,000 revs. I'll give her another punch. About 2,700 revs, which to me, I still think it should be less than that. That's okay. Good morning. So, hello. We've got Dad here with us this morning in the FJ Cruiser. Yep. If I can, can't turn the cat. There we go. Yeah. So, this morning we've come down to the dump hill, and I'm going to do a little bit more further testing on this whole exhaust myth theory. So, let's saddle up the Rocky, let the tyres down, hit the beach, and see if this exhaust really makes a difference. And if it does, I'm going to put the money towards getting a new system put on her. So I think she deserves it. Merry Christmas, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's our plan for today?
Oh, let the tyres down a bit and head up the hill like it wasn't there.
Yep, good idea. Here we go. We're about to climb up the dump hill. First gear, high range. Here we go, going up. The boost is the most important bit here. Oh, then again, not even on boost. It's just idling. The beautiful coast at Canunda National Park. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous today. Absolutely superb. Look at that. Hello, waves come up to meet me. Bye. It's a lot harder than you expect to get your boost up in the sand. Don't mind that, it's the exhaust knocking on the back door. So I just found a good stretch of coastline. I'm going to go jumper into first gear and get a run up, because coming down that stretch, this thing pulled like a train. Absolutely mental. So we're going to do that again. We can turn around and go back, and I'll show you guys what she's like. This is, if you're going to unbolt your exhaust for more power, definitely do it. Like, it's
raining out there.
That over the radio, yeah, it does look like it's raining. But yeah, no, it seriously brings your boost right back. My peak power is 2500 RPM, whereas on the road it's 27. And like that's where you want it. You want to bring it right back. So I've got full power at 2500 revs. So I'll show you guys. I'll spin this camera around and we'll go for a run. Okay, first gear.
Trying to.
Second gear. 2500 revs. 3000. Third gear. Go around a wave. 500 revs. Look at that. 2700 RPM. 2700 and I got full pressure. Back to second. The beach is actually very soft today. Spin her around. Gonna run back to the limo. First gear, 2500 revs. Change to second. 2500 revs. Change to third. Almost at full pressure, 2700 revs, full boost pressure. That's fourth gear. So guys, there you have it. By taking the exhaust off and removing that boost restrictor, I have cracked 10 psi and I have lowered my peak boost by 300 RPM. Not a great deal, but it certainly works. The next step is for me to go and get a system put on the Daihatsu, perhaps do another run, because of course the shorter the exhaust, the worse it sounds, and mine is coming right out from under that door there. So yeah, I'm going to get a full system, proper system put on it, and an EGT gauge put in. Do that myself. Looks like the waves are coming up to greet me again. So yeah, if you want to unbolt your exhaust and want to gain a slight bit of power, which is not very much, take your exhaust off. One thing I forgot to mention is my acceleration. I don't have any more boost lag. So as soon as I can get the revs up, as soon as I need boost, there's no waiting for it. If I'm at 2500 revs, I don't need to wait for it anymore. It's just bam, straight on to 10 pound. Pretty well, exactly. And that's perfect for me. I like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get another system put on it, like a proper system put on it. Maybe give her a little tweak on the old pumpy rumpy, up the boosty woosties, and so for the rest of the day. So Dad and I are going to go for a beach cruise now, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and if you like us and subscribe. It'll certainly help us out quite a lot. Waves coming in. Oh, don't want to get bogged here. That would be kind of silly. Well, I come to see the sea, you see, and then I waved. The ocean waved back.